I have an article from Israel Today. This is another internet news source that says that the Palestinian forces operating out of the Gaza Strip fired a rocket at the southern coastal city of Ashkelon on Tuesday night, just 1 month before a 6-month ceasefire between Israel and the Hamas-ruled territory is set to expire. The truce has been hailed as a success by both in Israel and abroad. In fact, if you recall, our Secretary of State thanked the Hamas for keeping the ceasefire. Nearly 50 rockets have been fired into Israel since the truce went into effect on June 19th. So the Hamas haven't really kept their word, have they? Hamas officials say they have yet to decide if they want to extend the ceasefire or not, though Arab media reports that the group is not yet ready to renew full hostilities against Israel. Just a rocket here and there, once a day or so. And then from this news article from the KansasCity.com, Israel to consider a 6-year-old Saudi peace plan. So now the outgoing Prime Minister of Israel has said that he is going to consider this peace plan that the Saudis gave. It's a comprehensive peace plan between Israel and the Arab world in exchange for lands captured in 1967, according to Defense Minister Ehud Barak. Barak said that it may be time to pursue a regional peace deal instead of just with the Palestinians or with Jordan or with Egypt. Here's his opportunity to seal a deal with the whole Arab world. Shall we call it the many? So, according to this, Saudi Arabia first proposed the peace initiative in 2002, offering pan-Arab recognition of Israel in exchange for Israel's withdrawal from Arab lands captured in 1967. That would be the West Bank, the Gaza Strip, East Jerusalem, and the Golan Heights. The 22-member Arab League endorsed the plan last year. Oh, doesn't that sound good? The only problem is they've never kept their word. So, Israel's willing to give up the store if the Arab world just stopped, pushing things down their throat. Now, you got to understand that this big ship that was captured a few weeks ago by the Somali Islamic pirates contained a dirty bomb, and they were going to set it off the shore of Israel and let it blow the nuclear debris and this sand they had down in the hold of the ship, going to blow it through the winds across Israel's midsection and kill a lot of Israelis. Now, some Palestinians would probably be affected by that as well, but, that's considered to be collateral damage. We need to be careful during these days of what the Islamic world has in mind. October surprise, I don't know, but I can tell you that Joe Biden himself said that shortly after the president, whoever he might be, would be elected, the world would test his mettle. Something similar to the Cuban Missile Crisis. I don't doubt that possibility. Here's an email we got from Fort Worth, Texas. She says, I would just like to say thanks for keeping us in touch with the real news on what's going on in the world, especially in the Middle East and the United States, and how it relates to biblical prophecy. I love your programs and tune in every day to get the latest updates. Thanks for this new feature you have added, because the news is happening so fast in these last days. Your programs include some of the most interesting aspects of the last days that others do not. Sometimes being a Christian in this secular world can make me feel like I'm up against the whole world. My thoughts and ideas are not like theirs, but your show makes me feel like I have friends that think like I do, and expands on my information and ideas. I believe that God has placed you there for such a time as this. It is indeed an exciting time to be living in. Thanks for all you do. May God bless you. Thank you so much for that. I would say 99.9% of all of the emails that we receive are very kind and loving and helpful and encouraging. I appreciate that. God bless you. And for those of you who might take issue with me on some things, just hold your horses and think. It's just liable to come to pass. Especially with the political and economic situation the United States is in and the whole world is moving toward. I'm convinced these are the last days, and there are a lot of politicians who are going to do a lot of crazy things. In fact, the Bible says that in the last days, perilous times shall come. And that little word perilous means insane. I'm J.R. Church. Tune in again tomorrow afternoon for our analysis of the news.